Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yoga Chat. We're here today, and we're so fortunate today. I'm so excited for our episode 3 and for our guest today. I am your host, Jessie Amatrano, and my lovely co-host,
Cece Detroit. Hi, everybody.
Cece Detroit, and we are here today because, as you guys know, we are 100% wanting to be able to communicate good, reliable yoga information to you guys. So let's jump right into our guest because I'm just so excited to have him here. He's been a good friend of mine and a colleague for many years, and we've developed a wonderful working relationship over the years. His name is Balwan Post. He joins us from India, and for many of you guys, you may know or you may not know that I spent a lot of time at Bikram's teacher trainings after I got out of teacher training, and I was never on staff, but I definitely went down for weeks at a time. And I always say I was there, but I wasn't. So I would stay on my own, but I wasn't really part of staff, and I would just wanted to be involved without really being involved. And Balwan just, saw me, knew it, honored it in me. He took me right in under his wing and allowed me to do all of the staff stuff. You invited me to so many things. You were just genuinely kind to me through those years. So Balwan was basically the head of Bikram's teacher training from 2009 to 2015, where he saw so many young teachers and fresh teachers coming in and out of that 9-week intensive program. I'm so happy to have you here. He joins us we're on Zoom right now in India right now where he is. And thank you so much, Balwan, for coming on today.
Thank you,
Jessie. So can you give us a little bit more about your background for people who might not be in the Bikram community or just regular people?
Yeah. I was born close to Rishikesh. It's known as a capital of yoga, and so yoga changed my life when I was in college. It gave me lots of focus, and I came to do my yoga teacher training in 2008 to Los Angeles, and then after the training, Bikram liked me. He gave me more responsibilities. And I always had this vision to help teachers. So I suggested few ideas to Bikram, and then with the Yoga Alliance, Sharon also tried sometime that if they can give us, recognize us,
yeah.
But then Yoga Alliance told us to fill few forms, but I think Bikram was not excited about it. So because I think I'm sure at that time we were even better than that.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
It was a good time in the community. That's for sure. And I think, for Christy and I, we were just talking off camera, and how we've developed and noticed this relationship with Balwan over the years, where the teachers and the well-being of the teachers, young teachers, seasoned teachers, senior teachers, he always had their well-being in the forefront of everything. Christy, do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't even know if Balwan would even remember this, but, he really stood out with me through my teacher training, and I was very fortunate that he was in posture clinic with me when we were doing Awkward. And I totally had a complete and utter meltdown. And he and Sharon both took me out of the room, talked to me, told me it was okay, and they were both so comforting. And I knew at that moment that whatever I needed, and anytime I needed something or even just a little bit of a sounding board, him and Sharon were always very, very accessible. And that was actually my very first experience, which was in the very beginning of the teacher training. And I appreciated that moment, and that moment still sits with me even now. And here I sit 6 years later.
I think, Balwan, a lot of us can say that you and Sharon were a guiding light for a lot of people. So we are very honored. We know you have a lot of connections, and we know you have a lot of resources throughout the world in the yoga community. Give us an idea. Talk to us and let people out there know what's happening. What is your current situation in India right now? What is happening there? Yoga aside, like how is it there amongst what's happening in the world around us right now?
So I came for my India trip. I do it annually. And then after, actually my dad had a spine operation, so he's doing very well. And I'm waiting to come back to USA. And this was, so last 2-3 years, I was working on one platform called Yoga Talk. So it was a kind of a showcase. It was a LinkedIn for all yoga teachers. And so I always wanted to do something for teachers because most of the time they are dependent on yoga studios. And then it's like building a platform where someone can endorse them. You can see that their seniority level, or that one place when anywhere they can, someone can see their schedule, or if they are doing their events, you can showcase your event. So I wanted to kind of help them that they can just not dependent only. It's like some websites, Upwork is one of them. So you work hard, you have talented, then you get rewarded, and then you build more connections, more people will approach you. So that was always in my back of mind.
Yes, that's amazing. And are there studios there in, you have studios in India close to you now, where you are?
There is one town, Rishikesh, but because of the lockdown, everything is closed. It's like a curfew-like situation here.
Tell us about the lockdown. Is everything down? Everything's shut? Tell us what you hear and see around you.
So India Prime Minister is really very forward, advanced thinker. He's reunited the whole world, the whole nation, and he's very popular. So he took the decision of locking down at the right time. Mm-hmm. And then it's very effective. People are they're cooperating him, and they talk very highly of him. And it's all like in adversity, everybody's coming together. There are lots of organizations, they're coming together to help the people, poor people, and people don't have any food to eat. So me and my mom also go there sometime every evening. Mm-hmm. And it's whole countries, just 2 hours before tonight, before 9 o'clock. So there was all nation, they were bringing the lights together, and it was show off. It was a kind of symbol of that we are all united. Mm-hmm. And then if you go outside, all the just candles and torches, they were showing that we are together. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing. It's not like it's not the most educated, but they have the right attitude.
Mm. And are teachers from around the world contacting you and are looking to you for information, for help? Are teachers contacting you?
On that page, my inbox is filled with those messenger, that chat box. Mm-hmm. That they're excited that about that they can. There is one place for online classes, if we can show that all the teachers, if we can show them at one place those classes, online classes, and it's a it's an opportunity and give a chance to have more audience, and the people more talented, then they have an opportunity, more eyes,
So
and
you would say that it's that a lot
yeah.
of people are contacting you to be able to
Oh,
have resources to work.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Balwan is amazing because he actually started a Facebook page, and it's called Yoga Fights Corona. If you follow myself and or Cece, you can see that we've started to share the page quite a bit to ask people to get involved, because like I said in the beginning when they made some things about Balwan is his ability to really feel as though, and correct me if I'm wrong, like the savior to the teachers and to the community. Which is one of the reasons why we adore you so much. And so that page, tell us a little bit about your vision for that page, for Yoga Fights Corona. What made you think of it? And, what was it like getting it from the start?
It was always ready, actually, before launching that yoga talk. The idea was that that the teachers, if they can have their more visibility, just like simple, that the vision is very big, but then just the first, that if there is, because all we are scattered in different places, countries, cities, but then, like, let's say Terry's class, she had lots of audience there. So if even I feel successful if I can even bring just one person extra to each teacher's class, so I will feel that we are all successful.
So basically a way to be, and the yoga talk was amazing. I mean, I saw it in the beginning on its first stages, and I thought from the start the idea was wonderful. And it was basically, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, a registry where yoga teachers should just go and register, and then that would be, a resource and a tool for either people or corporations. I think that was one of the big things that we had chatted about. People, individuals, corporations, celebrities. I know they do it on cruise ships. I know they do it on yachts, and it's a viable resource and platform for them to be able to go to these bigger corporations and then be able to search through the yoga teachers there and find someone that's a good fit for them or something that they're looking for. So I think with that Yoga Talk page, then the idea was to bring it to Facebook now, and on Facebook, it allows all the teachers, same thing, coming together, and then they can post their either free classes or paid classes. It's both now, right? It doesn't,
Yeah.
yeah, it's both. It's either free or paid or whatever, but just to give, again, a tool and a resource for anybody, corporations, yoga teachers, non-yoga teachers, general public. I like to say the people, shopping at CVS, like just everyday people.
All the people all the time.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. I feel like, is yoga people kind of talk to yoga people, but yet yoga people have to make themselves adaptable to be able to spread yoga, to communicate it to people who are not really interested, and tell them the benefits in a very sharing and polite way. So I think that the more exposure that things have, the better. So is that correct, Bowen, that the page itself was designed for that?
Yeah. Yes, actually, and then you can call this platform anything, and even like the bigger organization, let's say Yoga Journal or Yoga Alliance or Mind Body, or they should be doing this kind of thing. That is some. If you even go to some of those websites, let's say Yoga Journal, if you're looking for a option, looking for a a resource, or for, let's say, continue education, back pain, so there are so many ads and it's not clean. So any source like Wikipedia or anything that just clean, everybody have to make money someplace, but it should be clean. And the idea was that just like LinkedIn, so less clutter, more just let's talk about the business.
Right.
So
I think in
uh,
my point of view, and you can tell me how you feel about this, I think it's gotten a little bit watered down
uh,
in the way that we're,
corporate.
could be outsourcing articles to people who aren't necessarily like have the educational background to write the article. They just do a few researches and then write out, so I know outsourcing of articles happens a lot. I know outsourcing of things, and so it doesn't give us always the most current and up-to-date information, if I should say.
And so when we go to, let's say, Google some teacher training or any, the whole information is so kind of it's great to have one resource, one brand or name that where there is some credibility, so it doesn't matter if it's Yoga Talk, Yoga Chat, or Yoga Alliance, just one place where you're looking for some information. Because right now you write Google, teacher training in USA, there will be like 200 places,
Yeah.
and then it's very overwhelming.
It is overwhelming for the general either teacher to find reliable sources and/or students finding reliable sources. That's a lot of, I think, what Chrissy and I were saying was, how do we just get if we keep breaking down the message enough, then it just comes down to move your body, feel good, and connect with yourself.
And this whole ideas or this came from all, like, this was a lifestyle. This was not even an idea, or like when working in teacher trainings, that it was great. It's like being a student for life, and it's your career also, getting paid for it. And then you're always building the network, building the connections. It was total. So same thing. I thought that all these, let's say, yoga studio owners plus teachers, they work so hard, and I always wanted to that they should be rewarded, or any way, if we can give them more eyes, more people may know about them. So it was always like back of my mind that they work, this is their entire full-time job, but then the money they get, like, it's very little. And if we can help them, maybe creating some events or sell their private classes, or just even first thing, let's say, whenever I'm going to a different city, it was like in 2015 I saw, and there was no platform or organization or anything, a website on the in yoga world was working on it. So let's say I come to Boston or any other city, and I go to a class and I learn like it. So I will know by experience that, oh my goodness, I will waste my 1 week there or 2 week. But if there is a platform that, okay, Jessica, she's in like good teacher, people like her, like that's building some credibility, or resource that where people can showcase their talent.
I do believe, and Chrissy, you can chime in on this, and Chrissy and I have always thought this, is that whatever the resource that gets developed, or wherever the forefront of what goes next is, we genuinely are stronger together in groups than we are separated. And a big part of what, yoga teaches us is that yoke and that connection, but yet we spend so much time bickering about, our own beliefs, that bigger picture, I think, sometimes gets a little bit put on the burner. And Chrissy, do you have any thoughts on that?
I actually I was so excited when Balwan had contacted me and invited me to like the page, because when I started looking at it, I thought, what an amazing way to use the current situation that's very uncomfortable for many of us globally, and really capitalize on a platform where we can start coming together and breaking down a little bit of those barriers, little bits at a time, and kind of unifying us as yoga teachers, practitioners, or just someone who is seeking out something. And now you have this page that's grown, and people are seeking out different things to just allow them to feel good. I mean, we could have people that have never even gave it an ounce of thought about meditation and are now giving it a try because they're able and allowing themselves to do it in the comfort of their own home, even though the act of meditating may make them feel a little bit uncomfortable. So the fact of the bridging of the gaps that have just happened within these past couple of weeks are probably way more monumental than the three of us even know.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And world is always changing. Actually, the tradition, nobody is now use landlines, or you remember that lots of studio owners, they were saying that we were making more money 20 years back than the so it's always, I think we should be welcoming, if any, this universe or situations comes to us, and then how we can make best of it. I think there is no good or bad situation ever.
No, right, exactly. And that, as Christy and I say all the time, there in any situation, in anything, in any idea or thought, there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. And
especially as a yogi, if we start thinking that, oh my goodness, this corona thing is kind of spoiling our businesses, there is always some, it happens for a good reason, and probably it's time to change.
Yeah, Chrissy and I say quite frequently that we believe, as yogis, we have to adapt. And because the world is getting more modern around us and the world is changing. And if we don't adapt and find a way to bring the old with the new, then, it dies off, and that's not, our intent.
Right.
So I think that you're absolutely right, Balwan. I think things like this almost spark that catalyst. They spark that creation for, okay, how do we, it's almost like survival, even though it's not the energetic word I, resonate with it, but it is almost like, okay, how are we going to keep this moving now? We talk all the time about being yogis and not being reactive, but are we in action and being creative, in this time? And we have a lot of it.
And I think change, looks very uncomfortable, maybe, but it brings some more revenues or more resources, opportunities for all of us. And probably now we may have even more people online and more access to more people. So we never know that it may be happening for a good reason. And maybe once it's done, we may see more people in our classes, teach, retreats, and everywhere, that the importance of community and taking class in the classroom with other people, the group energy. So I think it will all, and we can afford, I think for 2-3 months, if it's teaching us some probably some things which we could not even know.
Imagine, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like being in a teacher training that, oh my goodness, must have experience.
That is, you know what? So Cindy said it yesterday. Cindy said, we as yoga teachers have been in training for this our whole
Life.
career. Like, since we decided we wanted to be a yoga teacher, even a serious student or practitioner, it's like, this is this is what we've been training for. I mean, this is a Maha event, for right now.
Totally.
So, I mean, I appreciate you very much for all of the work that you have done for teachers and keeping everybody connected and, being that place where teachers can turn when they don't really know what's happening and when they do really feel a little bit unsettled. Cut out.
Yeah. It always brings me more energy and a way of living. I work in I have an engineering background. I work in IT, but I can work for when I'm kind of around people and teachers, and like I can work for free for my entire life. So this is, but I have a family, so
Yes.
sometimes I think it's important to have some kind of job which can pay
Yeah,
me.
exactly. We talked about this. How can we monetarily make, how can we make money and still have seva at the same time? It's like the best of both worlds. It's like doing it in a way that just promotes, I think, the greater, like, not necessarily greater good, but the greater like health and well-being of everybody, to have them understand that, most people just resonate yoga with posture, but posture is just the start. Posture is the key that opens the doorway.
Yeah, and I talk about it a lot even when we teach, and I've said it on one of even our chats here before, that this is a really huge self-care learning moment for a lot of people right now, because we're so used to busy, and then finding that moment, oh, well, I'm so busy and I have to fit my self-care in here. And then when you take the busy away, it affects us emotionally, mentally, physically, and it kind of makes us take a step back and rethink about, maybe one day our self-care moment is moving with asana. Maybe one day our self-care moment is a meditation or a mantra, or maybe that next day we focus on breath work. So there really are so many doors and so many opportunities, I think, that are exploding right now for people individually and as a yoga community, that it's amazing that we can kind of visualize that and see it. And I can speak for myself, and I'm sure I can speak for Jesse and even Balwan as well, that this is such a good moment of seva to be able to bring other people that little piece that they need in their day, because it's really hard not to walk into a class and feel that you're being of service when you're so used to feeling that for so long, and now it's taken away. So it is that way of, we're still able to serve. It's just serving on a private level for individual, but I still feel like we're a part of something great here, even if it's just 3 of us on a call.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Balwan wants to create a resource for, teachers to go, so that we can find great classes and that we can, have these things readily accessible at our fingertips. And it's like, my vision is to be a resource of light workers. It's like, no. You go see this person for this, you go see this person for this, you go see this person for this here. Let me point you in that direction. And so if we can just, for even a temporary moment, highlight people like Balwan and Cindy and many other people, as you see as the show goes on, that are these local light workers. They're these local, yoga beings who are here and in the trenches of the community, and they feel what people are saying to them, and what, they're communicating their needs and their desires and their wants to be able to, move forward in a way like we talked about, that does seva and allows you monetary benefit as well.
At some point.
But at some point, everybody likes to feed their children.
I totally, she brings a good point actually, and that sometimes we have the, I think, most strongest, intense, powerful community, but yoga is very broad. I think
Mm.
for years we try to, with tunnel vision, but I think whole community is very opening, variety of classes, and then something suits to someone, but we
Yeah.
can always come back to our basics.
Yeah.
Just the most structured and extensive. This is the most structured yoga asana practice, 26 or 84.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
and then that's the base, and then we can take it anywhere, apply that principles to discipline. It
yeah.
will be
It is very
kind of
true. There is
yeah.
nothing like our lineage. There is nothing like the Ghosh lineage and
Oh,
the Bikram lineage and that
oh,
sequence. It's something that I come back to daily. It is
Yep.
always in my forefront and my start. Like I say to there's nothing like even if it's a straight strict dialogue class. There's nothing like toes and heels on the line, and you're like, yep, my feet are on the line.
Exactly.
It's just something so nostalgic to it, and heartwarming. But then in other yoga classes, I say I like to go and shake my tail feather in other yoga classes too. It's again, there's no right or wrong to any of it. So like I said, Balwan is a valuable resource. Please, if you are a yoga teacher, connect with him somehow. Whatever your background is, even if it's just through me, through him, through Chrissy, connect with him. He is very much accessible, and or will reach out and have a intelligent dialogue back with you. And as far as yoga talk goes, we're going to definitely keep our eye on that, because that is something that we both think that the community could very much value from. And right now, on a smaller basis, that Yoga Fights Corona on Facebook is going to be, please follow it, like it, comment it, share it to anybody, and let it be that resource that people, whether they're, like I said, laymen's yoga teachers, anybody, someone at home who's never done it before, now all of a sudden they're in a class with their video off. It's an amazing tool to get it right into your home. It removes the insecurity about it. It removes any of the feelings of, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I really even like it. Have an open mind to it. Find a class, log on somewhere, and just see how it goes. There is no right or wrong to any of this, and it's only ever just about
and how lucky we are that we only had, access to few teachers before, and probably this corona, this is probably a gift that we have access to all the renowned best yoga teachers and your own time, your own comfort. So this
Melissa
is
said it
all,
the
I
other
think,
day.
welcoming. Yeah.
Melissa said it. She was like, I'm taking this time. I get to sit at home and take this teacher's class, this teacher's class, this teacher's class. I'm like, look at her. And she's just like skirting all around the global community.
Yeah, that's what I did. I think I took 5 classes the other day. All day. I did yoga. It was great.
So Jessica, Sissy, in 1 minute, you want to talk about yoga chat? Just the people who don't know anything. That what's your vision or about
Well,
yoga chat?
yes. So our reason again for for this right now video recording, maybe someday to podcast, but our vision, like I said, is to start to be a resource for light workers, right, and a resource to the local community, and bringing it on the forefront, because we don't believe in a right or wrong. We don't believe in one way, and people have their specialties, and that's amazing to highlight that in everybody, so that we can keep the community kind of coming together and expand it. over time, because we just want
One of
everybody
my
doing yoga.
dream is that it doesn't matter any platform where we can bring all the best teachers, all the senior teachers, talented teachers, and that a resource that, let's say, if it's your yoga chat, that bringing some interviews, that it can become a community, or it can, and everybody start taking participation, that let's make this successful. That's my dream, that doesn't matter if it's yoga chat, yoga talk, or any platform.
And you never know who's listening to this, right? Show us all the possible ways.
Right.
We never know who could be listening, or who has the resources to do it, or who's right now. We are in I think a great moment of ingenuity, creativity, and something that's going to propel us into the future. We're literally changing the landscape of how we're living our whole life. I think a lot of people are like, oh, we'll go back to normal in a few months, and it's like, it's going to be a new normal.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's another thing. That's a huge point, which is where what I was going to add too is, I always say all the time, when someone uses the word normal, define normal, because it's going to change and things will be different. And what we're used to prior to this very moment, it may not be like that again for a while, or maybe even ever. Things that were important to us prior to what we're in now will shift. Maybe our activities shift. Maybe people's intentions on where they are taking care of themselves and their family is going to shift. And a lot of times, Jess and I, we know how amazing our resources are. And this now gives us the opportunity that even if you do not walk into our yoga studio, you can still hear about all of our resources. You don't have to walk in and be in Voorhees and step through the door to hear us talk about, you, Balwan, or Cindy. And it gives us the opportunity to allow the world, or whoever wants to jump on and listen, to know how amazing the resources are and what they mean to us. And then it gives people the opportunity to see who resonates with them.
Yeah. And you for sure, Balwan, are one of those gems in the world. So we thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be sure to put the Yoga Fights Corona down in the bottom in the description. And then also, if you send me any other stuff that you want me to link right there on the bottom, then we'll throw it right in. And please, if you are someone who's looking for more information, whether you did Bikram's teacher training or not, I know he's a resource for you, and it can be a valuable one if, depending on what your situation is. So thank you so much, Balwan, for coming on, and I'm sure definitely I'll send you a message and we'll chat after this. But I appreciate your time as always.
I wish you best, that I dream, or kind of vision, that we, just like me, we can bring all the senior teachers and leaders on this platform, not only from hot yoga, and from every discipline.
Yeah, we're gonna make our way around the block.
Very nice.
Stay tuned, my love.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in our episode this afternoon. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for any notices about free classes or paid classes and our resources. And have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.